Hi, I am Kendall Rawls, Director of Development with the Rawls Group Business Succession Planners, here to welcome you to How to Create Control Over Your Future series. Some time ago, hard work, pure grit, and hope it'll work out sometimes brought about a future people could live with. However, in our new world order, hard work and hope isn't the business strategy it used to be. In this episode, Champ Rawls, a succession planner with the Rawls Group, Marty Kirshner, partner with Gray, and our very own succession planner, Clayton Latiolais, along with Doug Woosnam, Managing Director with Cetane Associates, discusses what fuel dealers, propane marketers, wholesalers, and service contractors must do to generate what they want and need from the business.
I think business owners, when having this question posed to them, whether it be to sell, grow, or transition, need to first look at the foundation of their business. We were just speaking about, budget, strategic planning, all that kind of stuff, and understanding what the core of the business. I just came from a oil and gas, business last week that was talking about growing. And the first thing I told them is, what is the point of growth if you don't know what you're good or bad at now? What's your current market penetration? What are these things, these factors, these metrics that you can look at to be able to understand what your potential is in the future? And that leads you to the conversation of, should you sell? Should you grow? Should you transition? Because inevitably it's going to make the multiple on your business so much higher when you understand what you're good at and what you're bad at. So, my first thought with that is, what's the foundation? How do you operate? And then from there, it is the idea of testing the waters. What is the value of the business? What can we do better to get into different lines of business? And if you have the talent in the next generation, how do you prepare them to take over the best business you can possibly create for them?
Really, at the end of the day, I'm with Champ in this one because you do need to have a plan. I even wrote, when I was writing notes down for these questions, I said having that strategic plan to go out at least 2 to 5 years. When considering whether to transition to the next generation or to do an internal sale versus an external sale, you need to really understand the family dynamics. If there's a parent that's transitioning out of the business, they need to know that, first of all, they have enough in retirement and post work to live off of. And if they don't, and they continue to need an annuity out of the company, then the question becomes, well, can the company sustain while non-working parent is leaving the company? And so that's where the plan comes into place. It's something where you need to have, I would say at least a 10-year runway before you start to make those decisions, to have those conversations that far in advance. I'm also a big believer that, when bringing next generations into the business, it's always been my experience that having them have experience at other companies where, their last name isn't on the sign has usually been a good recipe for them to move up within the family business and understand what it's like to not be, mommy or daddy's kid, and to also have to work their way up a little bit before they're just kind of given that birthright.
Yes, agreed. So making sure that you have that potential successor identified and developing their talent, and having a plan to a curriculum for them to make sure that they're going through the right portions and then segments of the business to understand it and understand it as a whole. So with that, that plan has to ensure that they're being developed and also working with the key managers. They're working closely with key managers within the business to build that rapport. If they don't have that rapport with their key managers and in the process of coming over into the succession realm, they may or may not be prepared. So I think absolutely identifying it and making sure you have a plan for developing their skill set is key to making that transition.
I think to take a little bit of a step back, in order to make the decision of whether you want or need to sell or grow or transition, you need to engage a group of professionals or a professional to help you make that decision. I may very much want to grow my business, but unless I have the capacity either to fund that or to have the team in place to make that happen successfully, it's going to fail. And one of the biggest things that I encounter is a lack of willingness for business owners to step outside of their business and get the professional advice that really is required for them to successfully do any one of those three things.
Working on your business and leaning on expert advisory guidance allows you to create more control over the future you envision. By proactively addressing possible, probable, and potential issues, you create many options at your fingertips. Do you have a question you want to discuss with an expert? Feel free to reach out directly to Doug, Clayton, Marty, or Champ at the email addresses listed on the screen. This is only one out of our 7-episode series focused on creating control over your future. Keep listening to the series now or come back for more. Each topic featured may want you to learn something new. Creating control over your future is a part of the Rawls Group's Advancing Your Business, People, and Legacy conversation series.